A story in the news recently caught my imagination, and my imagination does not like to be caught. My imagination is like a wild animal, and when caught in a trap, it will gnaw its own leg off to get released, which is exactly what it did. Fortunately, my imagination also believes itself to be a millipede, and it could spare the leg. So I put on a fresh t-shirt and headed out the door, forgetting that somewhere beneath the rubble of a collapsed 10-story garment building in Bangladesh lies part of my imagination. And there it shall remain, along with the remains of the poorly educated women working for shockingly low wages who died there.
Money, get away, get a good job with more pay, you're okay. Money, it's a gas. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash. New car, caviar, four-star daydream. Think I'm gonna buy me a football team.
It seems that the hole left by my missing leg began to grow until it became a giant black hole, sucking the white clouds of my imagination into a time warp and not stopping until a full century had passed. And it found itself no longer in the sweatshops of Bangladesh, but in the sweatshops of New York City. The year was 1911, and another 10-story garment factory was on fire, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, and the victims of this tragedy, again, were poorly educated women working for shockingly low wages.
Money, get back. I'm alright, Jack. Keep your hands off of my sack.
And just like in Bangladesh, the management had locked all the workers inside before the fire to prevent them from stealing. And in both places, fire escapes collapsed from the weight of fleeing workers. And in both cases, local inspectors had warned that the building was unsafe. And in both cases, workers were told they would be fired if they did not continue working after the fire had started. In New York, these events horrified the nation. Horror is the only catalyst for change. Content people do not take to the streets.
Money, it's a hit. But don't give me that do-goody-good bullshit. I'm in the high-fidelity first-class traveling set. Think I need a Learjet.
Less than a year after the events in New York, all of the women working in those garment factories across the Northeast had been organized by the industrial workers of the world. And this was before they could even vote. These events helped fuel a movement of organized workers that brought us workplace safety standards, the abolishment of child labor, minimum wage, the 8-hour day, the very things for which this country should be proud. However, the real engine of this country, the corporations, run from these American values like traitors. In Bangladesh, the accident killed 10 times the number of workers in New York, whose wages were 20 times worse, the volume of clothing produced 100 times greater, and the profits 1,000 times more obscene. One would think that the international outrage would be proportionate.
Money, it's a crime. Share it fairly, don't take a slice of my pie. Money, so they say, is the root of all evil today. But if you ask for a rise, it's no surprise they're giving none away.
If it had been a terrorist bomb that killed 1,200 people in the name of a profit, it would scare the pants off of us. But when it is corporate neglect and greed that kills 1,200 people in the name of a very different profit, we go to Walmart and buy another pair of pants.
Money, get away. Get a good job with more pay, you're okay. Money, it's a gas. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash. New Cork caviar, star daydream. Think I'll buy me a football team.
In the 21st century, American corporations continue to have their wares manufactured in 19th century working conditions. This too catches my imagination, and it is an active imagination, because I can envision a day when large American box stores and name brands take pride in American values and no longer sell their merchandise made in such un-American conditions. Where Walmart's slogan, "Save more, live better," started living up to the live better part of their slogan. Where Gap did not mean income gap. Where Dell Computer's slogan, "Get more out of now," was not aimed at a 13-year-old girl on an assembly line. And where Nike's "Just Do It" and Target's "Expect more, pay less" did not sound like it was coming out of the mouth of a factory boss with a riding crop in his hand. It is time, my friends, that we Americans demand that the working conditions we insist upon for ourselves be true of the things we buy. Because after all, you are what you buy.